Hello, my beautiful mystic hearts, and welcome to today's love reading. All right, so as I was preparing for this reading this morning, I was just hearing that both you and the person on your mind have been activated to this journey for quite some time, that you're both very much on your healing journeys. And so I wanted to just really tap into that today. I just wanted to see where you both are in your journey. So I've actually got a beautiful oracle deck here that will really be able to help us tap into that. So it's a sacred geometry activation deck that I've got, which I think would be really appropriate for today. And just like I said, I feel like you and this person on your mind have both been activated. So I would just really like to really just get into that and just to see where you both are on this journey. I will start off though with a quick energy check just to make sure that this is your collective, that you are actually going to resonate with this message, and then we'll get into it. So let's see what comes through today. I feel like today's going to be quite a really interesting read I'm hearing. So let's get into it. All right. So as I said, just a quick energy check, just to make sure this is actually going to be your collective. So I would just put your energy through here just to see what's around you at the moment in this connection, how you're seeing this connection at the moment. So let's have a look. All right. So we've already got cards coming out here. Just going to get another couple, and I'm just going to split the deck as well because I just want to get your overall energy here. So let's just split this deck actually right now, and let's just see. So like I said, I was healing that you're both very much activated to this journey, to the divine counterpart connection, is what I'm hearing. So I'm just hearing that you both see each other very much as your soul contract. So let's just see what we've got here. So we've got breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment. All right, which makes sense, right? Because I do get the sense that you guys, you and this person on your mind, are in separation. I feel like you've been in some separation for quite a while. Hence the fact that I think you're both very much activated to this journey. I feel like I'm probably going to be channeling to start with the divine feminine is what I'm hearing. But like I said, we will get down into it, into the actual connection. But this is someone that you're definitely in no contact with. And like I said, if you're as far along in the healing journey as what I'm feeling, then it will have been for some time. So this is not something that you guys didn't go into no contact 3 weeks ago. Like this is something that has been, you guys have been in separation on your separate healing journeys for quite a while. And then we've got not enough. So frustrated relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues, jealousy. I think this is actually what you both have been healing out. I'm feeling that, especially for the divine feminine, who I feel like I'm talking to at the moment, that there definitely were feelings here of not being enough. That maybe your fear and ego potentially got in the way of this connection, or actually probably the masculine. I feel your fear and the masculine's ego is what I just heard actually got in the way of this connection. That's ultimately then what led to your separation. But I think too that for a little while that there has been some frustration as well. I think frustration about the lack of contact here, obviously, so because it's been quite some time, so that would make sense. But also this is what you've been healing out, right, is these issues around not feeling enough, around that real fear of abandonment. So really trying to heal out your shadow. Like I said, I think there's been a lot of shadow work being done here. So really going inwards, looking at your inner child wounding and just seeing what your triggers are and seeing how that can actually be healed out. So I just hear that you're trying to really, and it's just here, right, stop the pattern. So I really think that you are trying to find healthier ways of living, a step into new cycles is what I just heard. So closing out old karmic cycles and stepping into new ways of doing things, new healthier ways of living is what I just heard. And there we go. So we've got the word abandonment there as well. So that real fear of abandonment is what you've been trying to heal out. But like I said, I get the feeling that you guys will actually be mirroring each other with this. Like I said, I just get the feeling that both you, the feminine and the masculine, are activated here. So let's keep going. I just want to get two more, please. One and then another one. One more, please. Here we go. Okay, so let's just see what we're dealing with here to start with. So very interesting, the cards that would come up considering what I was picking up on. So we do have seduction photograph. I think that you have been reminiscing about this person quite a lot. So we've just got photographs. So we've got looking at old photos, missing nostalgia. Like I said, I think that both of you are actually really mirroring each other. Although the mirrored card didn't come out, I get another couple actually, to be honest. But we've got the photograph here. So you probably have old photos of this person on your phone. I would also imagine videos as well. And likewise, I think that the two of you are probably looking at each other's photos at the moment, a real Six of Cups energy, so really reminiscing at the moment. I've just heard that this person, the emotion of this person has just really come over you quite strongly in the last few days, I just heard. But this is what you guys were originally in, right? Is this around this third party interference? So I think that this was what ultimately led to your separation. Is either you had intuition about this or you actually knew about this. Like you had confirmation of it, is that there was third party interference here. Now, third party interference could be a variety of different things. It could be family as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could be family. It could be work related, third parties. It could be a business type of situation that got in this way of this connection. I also heard too, for some of you, that this person actually did end up choosing someone over you though, which I've just heard though that the masculine really regrets it, that whatever happened here between the two of you, the masculine is in deep regret. I just heard that. So we will tap into the masculine as well. We'll get your energy after this and then we'll tap into the masculine. But I'm just hearing that this, for the both of you, is really going on. So you're both reminiscing about what happened here, about how this separation actually occurred. I just heard that I don't think the masculine ever made you feel like a priority. I think there were always things ahead of you, or at least you felt that way. And I think that you very much communicated this with your masculine. I think there was a lot of conflict here between you and your masculine, and then this ultimately then led to that separation. So a real Five of Wands energy is what I'm feeling. But both of you were reminiscing on this separation between the two of you, on this third party interference. I also heard as well that there could have been some sort of a family interference. I just heard straight away, I heard mother, but it also could be sister as well. I just heard family interference. But definitely whatever led to this separation, whatever that third party scenario looked like, is that this is definitely what you guys are playing over in your mind. And you've both got photos, nostalgia, making new memories. Both of you are looking back and thinking about this now. I think both of you were in deep reflection over what happened. And then we've got the hammer, right? And this was exactly what I was picking up on. So sabotage, rebuilding. This is very much my card around after a tower. So after a tower moment's happened, which I feel like has happened for both of you. A lot actually in the last little bit. So I feel like the last sort of 6 to 12 months for both of you have been a time of reckoning, is what I heard. So a lot of karmic situations for the both of you, relationships and situations, which have been put in front of both of you in order to activate you and to actually get you onto your healing journey, is what I heard. But this is that rebuild. So a whole lot of tower moments and then rebuilding. So I do feel that you are in a state of rebuild, and so is this masculine. Like I said, I wonder, I'm going to get a couple more and just see if the mirror card actually comes out. But I'm also being told to remind you as well that you guys do mirror each other, that even though you can't see your divine masculine in the 3D, you guys are still connected in the spirit realm, right? You guys still have, your ties together. And so very much whatever you're feeling, your masculine can feel, and vice versa. And very often what happens is that you will be both going through karmic situations which very often actually mirror each other. You can't see it in a 3D because there's this veil between the two of you, but very often very similar situations will be happening to the two of you. But I think that you're in a real state of rebuild at the moment. Also, I heard just then as well that both of you actually want to rebuild this connection. You can't see this though. You've had no evidence of this because here we've got this clock. So it really has. It's been quite some time since you've both seen each other, which is what I was picking up on. Like I said, this is not a 3-week time frame. Like this has been some time between the two of you. But you've both been taking this time to heal. Both of you have been reflecting and healing. So time, changing out cycles, really trying to find, I just keep hearing healthier ways of living, also healthier ways to communicate. I think that maybe when you guys were together, your communication styles probably weren't the best. And I think that for the both of you, you've had karmic situations and relationships come across your table, which have really highlighted that for you and really pushed you into finding better ways to communicate with others, is what I just heard. Which comes down to this whole hammer, right? So the whole rebuild, finding better ways of doing things. But there has been some time here between the two of you. But you've both been using this time wisely. I just heard that. You've both been using this time wisely to heal your cycles. Also to divine timing. So this will be very much protected under divine timing as well. Probably something you need to remember is that although this journey can be really frustrating, it is all protected under divine timing. And you probably, it's going to really irritate you. I can just hear it, the collective, when I say this. But when the time is right, when you've both healed enough to be brought back into alignment again, then you will be. All right, you actually will be brought back into alignment again. But it's all around divine timing. I just heard that divine is also protecting you, divine feminine at the moment. It's actually really protecting you from whatever messiness has been going on in this masculine's life. The divine, you've actually been protected from it. I just heard that. And then we've got ascending as well. So transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union. So this is what I was feeling. It's like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see how this reading goes, because I definitely get that preparing for union feeling. You're both activated. You're both on your own separate healing journeys. Like you've taken this time to really rebuild. And like I said, you're both transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, both wanting to go into that new phase. So it'll be interesting to see, like I said, where this reading goes. But then we've got mask here. So we've got not showing true feelings, personified, pretend, deluded, gaslighting. Couple of things here. So the mask is the shadow that both of you have been healing out at the moment. So both of you would be on your separate healing journeys, both looking at your shadow, at the masks that you wear to the rest of the world. You've both been on that journey, healing that out. I also heard too that the masculine is still wearing a mask at the moment. So he still hasn't come through to you, right? He's still not showing true feelings. You feel like this masculine is still holding his cards very close to his chest when it comes to this. So let's get another couple of cards here. What is this connection? You're also being very picky about which cards to give me. So let's see. They're also coming up all face down as well. So it's almost like it's a surprise. Almost like when this masculine comes through to you, it will be a bit of a surprise. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. So we've got coffin. That makes sense. Oh, the runner. That makes sense. Got love and then not enough. So it's come out again. Yeah, so we've got so this is how this masculine has been so the runner, right? So that running energy. So the masculine has been in avoidance with you. We know that. So runner, codependence, relationship, fear of intimacy. This is what this masculine has been trying to heal out though. And I feel that you definitely feel like you are in a runner chaser dynamic. And this is what this masculine is reflecting on, right? Is his avoidant tendencies, on his, looking back at old photos of you and just really regretting the way that he has avoided you, the way that he potentially did choose a third party over you. Although I don't mean that to be unkind. For the right collective though, then that will be resonating. For some of you, that really was a romantic partnership that he chose over you. Like I said, you would have intuition about that, or you would actually really know that. But yes, but he's definitely going over his runner, his issues really, his fear of getting too close to people, his fear of expressing his feelings, really that shadow work around just having the confidence to open up and actually express himself, actually opening his throat chakra and telling people what he wants. I just heard that. So many masculines in particular, but just a lot of people in general, let's be honest, but especially when it comes to masculines, as they're told that, that feelings are not valid, that they need to squash their feelings, that they're not masculine if they have feelings, that they always need to be so tough. It's that real societal conditioning that masculines are given. And so then what happens is then they just, because all of their feelings and emotions are completely invalidated, all that happens is that they just grow up into adults who then just continue to avoid their feelings. And unfortunately, the feelings never go away. They just bottle them. And then it comes out in other ways. I just heard it really comes out in other ways. It normally comes out in aggression, um, not being able to actually form any really serious connections as well. They're unable to get into relationships and express how they feel. It has some really, really negative impacts on masculines when they do then get into adult life, because they're carrying that trauma. There's a reason why I just regressed to that. Digressed. There's a reason why I digressed to that. But this is definitely what this masculine is going over. I also heard that he's learning to open up his heart. I just heard that as well. But we've got coffin, so endings, new beginnings, growth, change, liberation. Yeah, this is definitely the energy that you're both in, is that real hammer energy, coffin energy, really rebuilding after tower moments, really new beginnings here is what I've heard. And then we've got this whole thing around not enough. The fact that I put that underneath the clock means that you feminines might be starting to feel a bit like this as well. You're definitely feeling frustrated due to the time that this has taken. But there's, and also too, I hope this is not the case, but the time that this has taken might also be leading you to feel a bit like, well, maybe you were never enough to start with. But I just need to remind you that this is all protected under divine timing. Right, is that the masculine will be allowed to come through to you, because the masculine's not actually allowed to come through to you if he's going to make your trauma worse. And also, I will just make a disclaimer here. I'm going to say he, she, masculine, feminine. This is no gender to these readings. I just always make this disclaimer as well, is that you could identify either with the masculine or the feminine. It just depends on which veil you're wearing, which type of trauma you're carrying. You could also see aspects of both in yourself as well. So I just was told to say that. But I think for the feminines here, that this time here, it has been leading to feelings of not enough. And you are starting to feel quite frustrated that maybe this is never going to happen, that this is never going to come in. Also, too, if you are feeling really frustrated, like this is never going to come in, once again, it's probably a layer that you need to go through. You probably need to examine as to why you're feeling so frustrated. Um, things around fear of avoidancy and surrendering to the divine. And, for the right collective, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it probably is irritating me, you saying that. Me saying that. It's probably irritating you. But yeah, I mean, you know what this is about now. That's what I had just heard. You know what this journey is about. All right, and then so we've got ascending, and then we've got love. So unconditional love, self-love, passion, affection, attraction. I think that you both have immense love for each other still. I'm not going to lie. I get the feeling that you both very much see each other as divine counterparts. It's just a very love-filled feeling that I got. I just think that both of you have just had, you just had a real shadows to both heal out before you're able to be brought back into union again. And, and I've put this under ascending as well, right? So you are, developing self-love, the both of you. I just heard for the first time as well, you're also developing a real sense of self-love. All right, beautiful. So that is the overall connection between the two of you. So you'll know pretty much now if that is resonating or not. But what I want to do is I want to get that oracle deck now, and I want to, because you're both, I just get such this sense that you are on this healing journey, is I want to really drill down into what is happening. I'm going to get you, and then I'm going to get the masculine after that. But I just want to see just really what you're working on, and just see just the type of messages that come through, and just see where this leads us. I'll also be referring to the guidebook as well, only because they're just really beautiful messages in here. So I just want to make sure that we're capturing everything correctly. But we'll refer to the guidebook. All right, so let's do this. So let's get yours. So I'm just going to bring that out. Oh, that's my little dragonfly. This might actually mean something to you as well. So the dragonfly is actually quite a special animal to me. It could also resonate with you as well, but it's very much around transformation, growth. The dragonfly starts out as this little tiny gnat in the water, and then grows into this beautiful winged insect that can then fly away. So that might resonate with you. There's a reason why I was just told to point that out. Okay, so let's get your beautiful collective. What is currently going on at the moment? I'm just going to split these cards here. Interesting, we would just get soul time and then integration. So I'll just quickly read these. I will keep shuffling, but I just feel like I need to talk about this quickly. So the so this is currently used, so 40 and 30, or 43, 34 might also be numbers. But the frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that why the corporal body is mortal. I'll get my words out in a second. The soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite, which really makes a lot of sense with the journey that you must be on. It's really around self-examination. Yeah, really. And then I just heard as well, just really examining your inner child, really examining your soul. I also heard mission work as well. And then we've got integration. So the frequency of integration supports our embrace of every aspect of ourselves, allowing what we perceive as positive and what we perceive as negative to harmonize in a balanced symphony of life. So beautiful that you would get that, considering the healing journey that I feel that you've been on. So really trying to, I just heard there's been a lot of chakra work. So I think that you must be, I just heard as well that you are listening to a lot of hurts as well, like healing hurts, abundance hurts. I just heard that, but just a lot of, I mean, these cards really reflect it, right? Just a lot of soul work is what you're doing. All right, so let's get down into it. I feel that this is for the both of you as well. Like I said, I feel like you're both really activated here. All right, so What's happening in this beautiful feminine collective? All right. Throat chakra. Well, that's very interesting. I even said throat chakra just before. But the frequency of the throat chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self-expression and sense of peace and balance. The number 5 as well, or 555, you might be seeing 555 a lot as well, all around really new beginnings. But I had that sense before is actually opening your throat chakra. So it's really around finding your voice, around really, which means self-esteem, right? Confidence, really stepping into your divine empress glow is what I heard, but really opening up the throat chakra. I felt, and I just said before that I just get that sense like you're doing a lot of chakra work, and there we go, we've got chakra straight away. So let's have a look at this. So the throat chakra. So the flower of life is a geometric shape. She recognized by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect in the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportional flower. Okay. As a symbol of the flower of life, this represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all of the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and spiritual beings to the whole. The color blue is associated with the 5th or throat chakra, associated in the area of the neck. It is linked to communication and our ability to express our needs and desires. Blue is cooling, a mentally relaxing color, and it pacifies the nervous system. It connects us to the holistic thought, it generates wisdom, and supports our communication and speech skills. Blue is considered the color of truth. Its sense is hearing. So I think that, yes, you really have been working on your ability your confidence to speak out is really what I was picking up on. So I think that you're probably a person prior to going on your journey of healing, prior to this connection, is that you were someone that never really spoke up, really ever expressed what their feelings were, what their needs and wants are. And I think that that's all changing. And I just heard not just with your romantic relationships, but also in personal relationships as well. So with family and friends, I just heard that you never really understood what the word no was. I just heard that as well. And you're really starting to have the confidence to say, actually, I don't want that anymore. I want relationships of equal give and take. I'm very much also seeing my six of coins card, the 6 of pentacles. So you're really wanting relationships of equal give and take. That you're no longer going to be taken advantage of anymore, is what I heard. And you're really starting to have the confidence to speak up. I just heard too also that this is to do with your mission work. So I think that you are really stepping into your mission work. I think that you're really starting to find your voice around that. And so when I say mission work, it is how are you going to be giving back to this world, which is ultimately one of the key goals, the key points of being in a twin flame divine connection counterpart, the divine counterpart connection, get my words out in a second, is actually stepping into your mission work. So healing enough to then be able to then give back to the rest of the world, right? What messages have you got to be sharing with the rest of the world now that you've done the healing work yourself? How can you show others how to heal? And that's what I'm getting here, is that you're really starting to step into your mission work, whatever that is. And I'm just being told to really encourage you to do that, to keep finding your voice. That's what I just heard. But that's really beautiful. Also the color blue, you might even be wearing blue at the moment as well. All right. Or you might be sitting on a blue couch. I just heard that. But really beautiful. Also, these cards have all got that as well, right? Oh, here we go. The number 19, which is delight. So this frequency of delight supports our capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. The more delight we feel, the more delight we evoke in others. So the number 19 might be also really relevant to you as well. Also 519 or 915, I just saw that. That could be a house number maybe. Okay, so delight literally means from the light. So science refers to light as an electromagnetic radiation that we can measure in wavelengths and visible light. Let's turn the page. As a range of wavelengths and variation of color that we can perceive with the human eye. In the new energy, we are asked to consider the multi-dimensional attributes of light as fundamental to what we believe about it as well. Light has a quantum attribute and is non-linear. It is an energy that can be created through consciousness, and consciousness can create it in return. Light influences our awareness, our perception, and therefore our reality. Just trying to paraphrase here for you guys. So the yellows, oranges, and pinks in the image refer to the sun as a symbol and source of our light. The beauty of the flower stimulates our feeling of joy, and the colors that are like the sun. So real sun energy here. So you are really stepping into your power here. I also just straight away saw, I'm really seeing that Empress card as well, really stepping into your glow. The flower blooms while receiving light, or perhaps it is shining the light that we are receiving. The flower of life visible within the image represents the grid on which our three-dimensional reality is based. So I also just saw the Magician card as well. So I think that there's your manifestations are really starting to come in. You're understanding how to balance between light and dark. So a balance between your yin and your yang. You're really coming into real internal balance, and your light is really starting to shine, right? You are really, I think that there are people around you that are probably commenting at the moment saying, wow, like you look amazing. Like, what have you done? But you're just really stepping into your Empress glow is what I heard. And also here, so the capacity to create and experience feelings of intense joy and happiness. Like I said, for the very first time, I think in your life, is that as a result of this healing that you've done, you're really starting to feel joy. I just think that for a long time, I just heard that there was this real shadow over you for a long time, but you really have been stepping into your glow. I just really see my Queen of Wands energy as well. The fact that came to my mind, and also I'm just seeing this more so quite like fire here as well. You could actually be a fire sign, so you could be Leo, Sagittarius. I just heard straight away. But you actually could be a fire sign. Aries is the other one, but I was just straight away hearing Leo or Sagittarius. But I just really think that you're starting to really step into your glow, your mission work, you're finding your voice. What am I doing? All right, the next one. Oh, we've got 41, synergy. So 41 could also be an important number. So the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in a new way of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting creations can give birth to a new reality. So this is exactly what I was picking up on, is that you really are finding new ways of communicating, right? So working, thinking, relating. This is not just in your personal relation. It's not just in your romantic relationships, but this is in all facets of your life. I think that you are really starting to step into a very abundant period in your life as well. I've just, like I said, I just keep seeing this manifestation card. So I just think that you're really starting to call in some really beautiful things in your life. Um, but also, when I first split that deck is like new ways of living. I just kept hearing that, and it just says, like, literally just says there, unions and the result in new ways of functioning. Right. So this is. I also think this is for the both of you, but you in particular, as you are really starting to step into your divine empress. Is really you're finding your voice. You're setting boundaries. You're really stepping into a far healthier way, more functional ways of communicating with people, and just your environment all around, really. All right, beautiful. I feel like I need to just get one more, and then I want to then drill down into your masculine. I actually want to see what's happening with the masculine. So I'll get one more here. Number 15, compassion. So the frequency of compassion. I just realized we actually didn't get before we do that, we actually didn't get I went straight into synergy here. We need to actually get from the book. Bear with me here. Let's get the book before we get into that. I feel like there's something in here that you need to hear. All right. So the origin of the word synergy comes from working together. Oh, there we go. It can be described as the result of something that is greater than the simple sum of its individual parts. In the new energy, we can expect synergy to not only refer to a process with an outcome that is greater, but one that involves uniting elements, energies, and even undefined attributes to create something that is completely new, different, and unexpected. This brings a wondrous element of magic to the whole process. So that's really magic that I just kept seeing the magician card, because I think that's exactly what you're doing at the moment. Is you really are really stepping into your abundance, which is I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's essentially what I was saying. Is I just keep seeing that magician card. I just think that there's this things that are really starting to manifest for you, things that have been really a long time coming. I just heard are really starting to come into manifestation for you. We've got the number 15, compassion. All right, so let's get this. All right, so the word compassion derives from the Latin word meaning with or coming together. Compassion can be described as the act of sharing, sharing in or being with another's struggle or suffering. Sometimes it includes a desire to alleviate this discomfort through benevolent action, sensitive understanding, and warm support. Compassion holds the highest energy of all human emotions. It is the center of the multi-generational communication between the human being and his or her higher self. And this communication is exclusive to humans, who have the unique capacity to feel emotion and is rooted in the connection to source. Human emotion can also shift reality. We can choose to move into an emotion and with that shift the reality we are experiencing. Yeah, like I said, like I keep saying, and I just choked there. I just coughed, clearing the throat chakra. Is that as you are healing, then you are really able to be starting to, like, I just keep getting these manifestations are coming through that you are really stepping into your compassion, which is why I think that you're very much into your mission work, or you are starting on your mission, on your journey. I'll get my words out in a second. That you are really trying to understand how you can be giving back to this world. And really you're getting very much in I feel like you're quite magic. Like you're actually quite a magical person yourself. but you are really starting to tap into source, really into your heart chakra. I just heard that as well. And really starting to try and find a way to be able to express that to the world now. I just heard sobriety come to my mind. I also think that you are thinking very clearly now. You've just tapped into source for the very first time in a long time. But yeah, so it says the ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator, which is exactly what we're called to do when we are on this journey. Is once we do our healing, let's just candle wax there, by the way. Once we complete our healing, we're not doing it for fun, right? like it's our job then to really be giving back to this world. How do we then leave our stamp? Typically, if you're on this journey, you've lived a very, very complicated life. I'm just hearing that for both you and your masculine, which is very, textbook for these kind of connections. But you've normally lived very, very difficult lives. And when you meet each other and you're brought into union for the first time with your divine counterpart, is that you're so broken at that point from everything that you have experienced in this world. And really, like, that meeting this person and going into separation with that person is really just that last little bit that just completely ends up breaking you, and then pushes you into this journey to actually finally heal out those issues that you have then carried since childhood. And then you're then pushed into this beautiful healing journey. But it's not, like I said, it's not done for fun. It's done so that you can then learn from your mistakes, learn from your issues, learn how to heal out, and then it's then your job to then give back to the world and help others heal. Right? There's a reason why we're given these very tough paths to live. I don't know why I was just told to digress that, but I feel like somebody needs to hear it. All right. Okay, so that's your beautiful energy up here. I now want to get into the divine masculine, right? Just want to see what's happening with him, how he's actually seeing this. All right, divine masculine. I might just bring this out again. All right, straight away we had something flip up here. So I will take this. I didn't actually get to completely shuffle the deck, but this is the first one for the masculine. So we've got belief. So the number 11. So you could also be seeing a lot of 1111s at the moment, but we've got the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. Yes, this is exactly what I was picking up on. I think for the first time, the masculine is starting to believe in this journey, and he is starting to tap into his gifts. I also, for the very first time. Also purple, I'm really drawn to this purple color here. I'm also thinking amethyst as well. So amethyst could be really relevant for this collective, but also the color purple. But let's get this from the book. What does the book say? So number 11. Belief is one of the most powerful driving forces towards action and change. Belief can be described as a state of mind we experience when we think that something is true. Up until now, it has mostly been our conscious mind that has determined whether or not we believe something. If there is enough evidence, logical and scientific facts in support of a thing, we consider it to be true and therefore believe it. I think your masculine is starting to actually break through that real logical mind of his. And once I get not gendered, so when I say his, as in just the masculine, that real logical mind that masculine is carrying, I feel I'm really seeing my King of Swords energy, just a very logical mind, which he's now finally stepping into his connection with source. So in this new energy, it isn't enough to rely solely on our analytical and logical mind. There we go. That's exactly what I was saying. To determine our truths and our beliefs. That's exactly what I was saying. Our world is rapidly being saturated with more and more multidimensional elements, like memories from other lifetimes or dimensions, enhanced extrasensory and psychic abilities, and an altered sense of time, to name a few, that require us to change the way we think. And science is not caught up enough to provide our minds with sufficient evidence to make a sense of this multidimensionality. I just heard your masculine is starting to finally believe in this journey, and also he's stepping into compassion himself and stepping into. I'm actually hearing for the first time into his divine, into his empress glow, as in what am I trying to say here, spirit, what am I trying to say, as in he is finally trusting in his high priestess. That's actually what I can feel, is the high priestess energy, as in his intuition, really tapping into source. I think I heard for the very first time, and you would know this about him as well, is that he was one of those people that really just, unless he can see it, he doesn't believe in it. But I've just heard that since being in this connection with you, he's really starting to understand and believe in the divine counterpart journey, and that he's for the very first time starting to really understand his intuition. Also, I heard as well that he's got a lot of, or he did have a lot of karmic situations around him in the 3D that he's very often used his very logical mind over, and that he's now starting to step into his intuition. And also feelings as well, compassion and feelings, I just heard for the very first time. And also his connection to source. So I think that this is something that he's really starting to heal out, is really, his feelings. Beautiful energy. And actually getting a relationship with his spirit team, whatever that looks like, whether that's God, spirit team, whatever that looks like, angels. He's actually developing, a connection for the first time. All right, I'm going to split these cards because I just want to... and look what I just split it on. So these could also be numbers. So 43, 44. You could also be seeing a lot of repeating numbers as well, or what's the word I'm looking, ascending numbers. So 43, 44. But also 4 and 3, I'm just being told. So 4, 4 and 3, 3. So we've also got divine feminine, divine masculine energy as an emperor, empress energy. But the frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of ever-changing nature of our existence in our lives, so we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. What was I saying? He's finally, for the first time, actually surrendering to this journey. He's starting to have belief in it. And then we've got universal love. So the frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of our existent self. Like I said, he is stepping into his non-logical mind. He's actually stepping into his oracle, is what I heard, which is really, really beautiful. Like I said, I think that I just got this really strong feeling when I was sitting down to do this reading. You're both in healing, that you're both activated to this journey. So, all right. Third eye chakra. There we go. So the number 6. So the frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition, our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. This is just confirming exactly what I was just saying. So he is stepping into his oracle, his divine oracle. So I'm just seeing the Hierophant card as well, that real teaching card. but also, yeah, I'm just seeing the high priestess. He's finally learning how to balance his yin and yang. Is what I heard. But let's get what the book says. The number 6. I just heard as well that I think that when you guys were in, I just heard this very strongly, that when you guys first came into contact, when you first came into union, is I think that you were just starting on your journey. You were just starting in your activation journey. And I just heard that the masculine wasn't, I think that he actually looked at you like you were a little bit delulu when you stepped into this, when he first met you. Um, but he doesn't think that anymore. I'm just hearing he does not think that anymore. His third eye is also activating. All right, so the number 6. So the flower of life is a geometric shape designed by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect in the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportioned flower. All right. As a symbol, the flower of life represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and spiritual beings to the whole. That's a really beautiful energy that he's in. The color indigo is associated with the 6th or third eye chakra, located in the middle of the forehead, just above the bridge of the nose. It is linked to our intuition, our insights, and our ability to see beyond third dimensional reality into the inner world, so that the conscious can merge into the unconscious. So he is really activated to this journey. Like I said, he is really stepping into. I'm also seeing moon energy as well. So really finding a way to see through the darkness, through and trusting his intuition to do that. So really listening to his spirit team in whatever he prays to up there. Okay, I'm like I said, I was very much picking up that he looked at you, and you might even have even said this between the two of you, that you're a little bit delulu, you're a little bit delusional. That it might have sort of, we don't want to say freaked him out a little bit, but it made him feel a little bit uneasy. He doesn't think that anymore. He does not think that anymore. Okay. Then we've got Earth, the number 24. So all of these numbers could be relevant as well. So 42, 24. But 24, let's get this. Get there in a second, guys. Sorry. All right, so beyond the 4 elements, well, actually, I'll read, trying to keep everything neat here. All right, so we've got, so the frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to the physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal spiritual aspects of our nature. I straight away heard that there were mother issues associated with this masculine, that he's actually healing out. He is confronting the issues with his mother. That will really resonate with whoever this reading's for. Beyond the 4 elements that make up our physical and material world, earth, air, fire, water, and air, we have to consider a 5th element, spirit, to bridge heaven and earth through an expansion of consciousness and advance humankind to the next evolutionary level. As a representation of our conscious connection between earth and source, we only have to retreat into nature and find the silence within to listen to all the majestic expressions Mother Earth reveals through the wind in the trees, the humming of the bees, and the rhythmic chirping of crickets during the wee hours of the night. We are spirit in a physical body here on a short temporary journey on this 3-dimensional form-based plane. On this journey, we are deeply intertwined with the earth, our roots reaching far beyond her surface. So he is really going through a very grounding time at the moment. He is really, I just straight away saw Hermit as well, the Hermit card, which is an earth sign. It's actually a Virgo sign, to whoever that might resonate with. But also you could be dealing with an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus as well. But really grounding, grounding in life, grounding in his connections. I just heard finally for the first time he's understanding what stability is, that real earth energy, stability, grounding. I also heard too that manifestations for him are starting to ground as well. But also getting a real connection with Earth, with Mother Earth. Really, yeah, just really understanding. I also heard abundance and pentacle path, which is very fitting for earth energy, being pentacles. But also Mother Earth, which is the Empress card that I kept seeing as well. I also think that he sees you as his divine Empress. I just heard that as well. But yeah, but also mother issues, but just a very grounding energy here. Like I said, I think that when this masculine met you, he was far, far from grounded. But I just heard he's growing up, he's maturing, he's actually starting to get a level head, starting to ground as well. Really beautiful energy. All right, and then the last card for the masculine, just to see what he's currently working through at the moment, what his healing journey looks like. Last one. All right, a card flying out at me, so we'll take this. Change. Well, that's very fitting, isn't it? So change. So the frequency of change supports our ability to be graceful, dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. Very fitting that that would come out. So the number 12 as well. And I think this is really just going to confirm everything that we've been talking about for this masculine. So change is the only constant that we can count on. Like the seasons, everything comes and goes in cycles. The ebb and flow, the day and night, the death and rebirth. Good times are followed by challenging times, followed by weird times, followed by ecstatic times. Nothing says this stays the same for long. Life itself demands movement and change to perpetuate itself. Change is represented by the turning of a circle or a wheel, showing us that forever changing nature of everything in the universe. In fact, the very concept of the universe is changing, and we are slowly accepting that a multiverse might be a more appropriate description. How we handle this constant change depends on where the center of our awareness lies. When we are deeply rooted in our own core, in our heart, at the center of the circle, the movements of change affect us less than when we are focused on the outward parts of ourselves. As a spinning wheel, the closer we are to the center, the steadier everything is. So just confirming exactly what we've been talking about, there's immense change that's been going on with this masculine. I also heard as well this masculine in the past has been very scared of change. He's not a person that likes a lot of change, which has probably also led to conflicts between the two of you, and also ultimately, you know, one of the reasons why you guys separated and then have stayed in separation for so long is his fear of change. But he is working on this, right? He understands that in order to get this grounding, that things in his life have to change, which is why I was getting that real feeling around that real karmic energy that has been around him, that he's really starting to close out those cycles. I also just see a circle here, so a 0, which is, you know, the beginning of new cycles, closing out cycles and starting again. Yes, I just, like, there's just a lot of change and a lot of real positive change that is going on in this masculine's life, is what I heard. Like I said, you're both activated to this journey and you've both been going through a lot. Oh, all right. So that's really beautiful energy. I hope that you can see all those cards there. So I'm going to get the tarot now. I'm going to probably finish off with the tarot because I want to see what your teams want you to know, and ultimately um, where this connection is heading. Really. So let's do it. Let's get the tarot. Oh, as I'm throwing cards away. That's really beautiful energy for the both of you, though. All right, I'm just going to bring that out. And then I'm just going to finish off here with this tarot. The tarot today. All right. Already got cards coming out. So let's get your energy in this. I'm just going to bring that out again. Let's see what your team wants you to know about this connection. Like, where is this connection going? Oh, straight away we had the Eight of Cups. I will take that, but we will actually split this deck. All right, so what's the overall ruling energy for you and this person? Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. So we've got 10 of Cups. So this is really what your teams want you to know about this connection. So this is a 10 of Cups connection, right? Is that ultimately you see each other as your divine counterparts, and you see each other as emotional fulfillment. So the 10 of Cups is, you know, it's that rainbow. I'm just straight away seeing the traditional deck, right, which is that rainbow. So rainbows could also really resonate with the two of you. But yeah, you do see each other as your gold at the end of the rainbow. I just heard. But there have been blockers here. So this is the death card, but the death card in reverse, right? So they're interesting. We're getting the death card again because I remember I got that in the very first deck that I got. But there have been blockers here with this connection, right? And we know that you've both been on your healing journeys. And you haven't been able to step into this new cycle with each other yet because you've both been going on your individual journeys. You don't actually get brought back into union again until really the universe or God or whoever you pray to is sufficiently feels that you've both sufficiently healed enough, right, to then bring in this 10 of Cups. All right, but let's have a look. Okay, that's actually way too many. I didn't feel called to take any of those, but let's keep going. All right, so this is your top row. So let's have a look. All right, I'll try and keep these exactly as they've come out. So we had this one at the bottom here. Well, that's interesting. So that's the Empress. So we've got 8 of Cups. We've got the Empress. So I was seeing the Empress card before, and that's come out. We then had, so keep these exactly as they are. So we've got Seer of Water. I believe that goes there. So we've got, this is the 6 of Cups, but the 6 of Cups in reverse. Seer of Water, and then we've got Student of Earth. All right, so this is just, like I said, this is your top row. We'll get another row just to confirm this, but this is 8 of Cups. This is both of you in this connection at the moment. So you're both walking away from things that do not serve you at the moment. Both of you are walking away from karmic cycles. Like I said, I did get the feeling that both of you are mirroring each other at the moment in this regard. You're both on such a beautiful healing journey at the moment, and you're both closing out these karmic cycles. I just heard that there could still be a little bit of time here, right? There's still some healing that needs to be going on. Also a reminder as well that when it comes to that Eight of Cups energy, from walking away from that does not serve you, into then ultimately your Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, is that the masculine will typically be far further back in the journey, like by some time, than the feminine. I feel like that's going to be relevant for some of you here. So the masculine, because of the types of veils that you wear, so it's going to be the masculine will wear the avoidant veil, and then the feminine has the longing veil, or that real chaser energy. As soon as that masculine ultimately leaves, and then leaves the feminine, and then pushes you into separation, because that's what happens with the avoidance, is they avoid everything. They avoid that this feminine brings up in them, because the feminine will actually highlight all of their shadow that they need to work on. And so the nature of the avoidant veil means that then the only way that they can cope with that is that the only coping mechanism they have is to avoid. And so when everything's highlighted, then they just walk away and avoid everything. They will continue to keep avoiding for quite some time, right? They just keep avoiding and avoiding, because that's the nature of their shadow work that they have to do. What will happen though is that the universe will keep putting karmic situations, karmic cycles across their life, in order for them to finally take that step, surrender, and then start their healing journey, which clearly your masculine has started. But he's probably started quite some time after you, is what I just heard. So you're both in Eight of Cups energy, but I just feel he's probably started his Eight of Cups a little bit before you. The nature of the chaser veil, though, that longing veil, is that the longer the masculine stays away, the longer the masculine avoids, the longer you stay longing and heartbroken, essentially. And so then that just continues. The longer the masculine stays away, then the longer you are pushed into healing and looking at your shadow, and then ultimately then stepping into your mission work. So that's why the feminine leads the way. The feminine always heals first, essentially. So, or you at least start your healing journey first. The masculine will eventually catch up, but he is behind you. All right, but I was just told to regress there. But you are in both this Eight of Cups energy. We've then got the Empress, which is that Empress card I was seeing. I think that you're both stepping into your Empress glow, and I know that might sound a bit weird for me saying that about the masculine, but that's really around the masculine's ability to start to balance out his yin and his yang, his masculine and feminine. Of course, he'll be really strong in masculine, but then he also needs to get that real Empress glow to him as well. If that all makes sense to the right collective, that'll make sense what I'm trying to say. That for a long time was a blocker here, right? Is the masculine's inability to step into this. For feminines, I think you'll hear like, yeah, definitely. This is also going to be how the masculine sees you, is his divine feminine. But I think that this for a long time was the blocker between the two of you. It's just the masculine's inability to be able to balance. But he's like, we've just got with that oracle deck, like he's stepping into his intuition. He's starting to balance this out, that Empress energy. Also, just to tie it to the other deck, Mother Earth. This is also Earth's mother energy, which was that previous card we got. So just to confirm. Then we've got the Six of Cups. We've got the Six of Cups in reverse. Now, the Six of Cups typically is a real longing energy. So, and this is what I was picking up in that very first deck, is that you are both reminiscing. So remember, we've got photograph as well. So you're both reminiscing heavily at the moment. In the reverse, though, what this is about inner child healing, right? It's actually looking back at issues from the past, to do with inner child healing and shadow work. And this is what you've both been doing, right? Which has been a blocker in order for you guys to step forward in this connection, is the fact that you guys have got to do that inner child healing. You've got to look at your shadow, and also that you've both got to step into this divine Empress, really. You've both got to, that real Empress glow is what you both need. But this is what you guys are moving into. So we've got Seer of Water. So that is the King of Cups. which is real, honestly, for both you and the masculine. And also very much for the masculine. You could also be dealing with a water sign. This could be. This could be. I just heard an air. Sorry, a water. That's the reason why I said air, but a water earth pairing is what I just heard. But the King of Cups is all around true emotional development. This is very, very emotionally available, no longer in running energy. You know, he sits there on his throne with all of his cups filled. Like, he understands how to communicate with people. He understands really healthy ways of living and of being. I see him as quite a compassionate masculine energy as well. So you're both really stepping into that energy as a result of this amazing healing journey you've been on. And then we've got Student of Earth, which is the Page of Pentacles, Student of Earth. And that's all about a brand new opportunity. So there are brand new opportunities here between the two of you. It's really actually quite an exciting time. It's also very grounded, which means that this has been a long time coming. This union with the two of you. It'll be interesting to see which card I get that confirms underneath this. But this is also leading to union, right? The Student of Earth. So it's something that's about to come through to you. It's also a very grounded energy, right? So we're coming back to that earth energy again, which is ultimately what the two of you want, is you want a new opportunity with each other. All right. Oh. I didn't even see what those cards were. I was told not to look. But we look. Here we go. So we've got the 8. The 8 of cups. And then underneath that, then we've got the Fool, right? So taking a step towards each other. So this is very much what the energy that you guys are in. So you are trying to leave behind your 8 of cups, both of you, these karmic cycles you're closing out, so that you could ultimately then step into actually take that step towards each other finally. I know that it's been some time, but ultimately you guys both want to step towards each other. I just heard that it might not be a long time. I'm just hearing this might not be a long time, considering the journey that you're both on at the moment. And I was just told as well just to look at the bottom card. And the bottom card here is we've actually got the Devil card, but the Devil card in reverse. Oh, and look, straight under that, then we've got the Death card in the upright. So the Devil card in reverse is really about that inner work that you need to do, really dealing with that inner shadow. And which is what you've both been doing, right? So you're both very much in Devil and reverse energies. It's very much around, I just heard addictions, jealousy, really quite, I don't mean to be harsh when I say it's, but really quite toxic energy. And this is what you've both been focusing on very, very much. This has also been the blocker, right? But the real Devil and reverse energy. Also too, that you're both wanting to come out of the devil energy, both wanting to leave that behind. Like I said, I think addictions played a big part in this connection. I will take both of these cards. So what have we got here? So we've got the Moon. Well, there's the Moon, the card that I was seeing. And then also we've got Source of Water. So Source of Water, so that's actually the Queen. That's the Queen of Cups, but in the reverse. So interesting that we've got both the King and the Queen of Water here. But back here to the Moon card. So we've actually got so the Empress card, but then we've got under that the Moon. So this is really, that's exactly what I was seeing when I said the Moon card. So this is very much around intuition. This is very much what the masculine is stepping into. I think for both of you, you're both for the masculine really learning how to balance that yin and yang, but both of you have also this Moon energy, which is really around trusting intuition. It's a very intuitive card. It's a very much the High Priestess card I see when I also the real High Priestess energy. the moon. It can also refer to things that have been kept in the dark as well, that there have been untruths said here. You know, that the cards have been held close to the chest as well, which has been a blocker here between the two of you. But this is what you're both moving out of. You're moving out of this, out of the energy now, starting to really trust intuition, coming back to those oracle cards. We've then got the the 5 of cups in reverse, but then we've all about that inner child healing. But then we've got source of water, so that's the Queen of Cups in reverse. So the Queen of Cups, in the upright, the Queen of Cups is very compassionate. She's really, wants to really give to others. It's very emotionally balanced as well. It's quite a real mature card with the Queen, but in the reverse, it's the opposite. So it makes sense that's what you've both been working through, right? Is that for both of you, I just heard compassion is something you've both been really working on. The ability to communicate with others really effectively, to understand others, to really feel what others are feeling. I've just heard, but this is what you've been working through. So it makes sense that it would then come up under that 5 of Cups in reverse. All right, so Seer of Water. That was the 5 of Cups in reverse. Sorry, I keep saying 6 of Cups, 6 of Cups. That was the 5 of Cups in reverse just then. I tried to poke up. I wonder if it will come up. Oh, there we go. Look, you can't actually make this stuff up. Look at it. So we've got, we've actually got the 5 of Wands. Is all around conflict, but you've actually got the High Priestess card here, right? Which is just what I was seeing is the High Priestess card. I just said that. So you're both stepping into this energy. So we've got Seer of Water, that real emotional energy, and then we've got she is the Oracle, the she's also Divine Feminine as well. So really, you're both understanding really your intuition. It's a real intuitive card. So we've got 2 cards of intuition here, but also she's very, very magic as well. She's very, very in tune with the spirit world. She's also a really divine manifester as well. She also understands the balance between the spiritual and between the 3D as well. But this is the energy that you're both stepping into, which is beautiful. I think that you're both oracles, I just heard. Whether the masculine knows or not, I'm not sure, but you are both oracles. And then we've got here, so then we've got underneath the Student of Earth, and then we've got the 5, so we've got this conflict. I think that this is what I'll get my words out. The Student of Earth is that brand new opportunity that you both want with each other. I'm surprised that this has come out, but this is what you, I think, are still reflecting on. Is there still going to be conflict here? I think that the both of you are concerned that you might still be stepping into conflict, I think is what's going on. Yeah, I just think that the way that you guys separated is very much still on your mind at the moment. So there was a lot of conflict between the two of you. I think there was a lot of pain caused here. All right, I just want to pull another couple of cards because I want to get next steps. So what do next steps look like? We've also got the 6 of Swords on the bottom there as well. So once again, another card about moving on to calmer waters. So I just want to get a couple of cards here about next steps. What are the next steps here, please, Spirit? So next steps here for this connection. All right, so the first one we got was the 8 of Pentacles. So that is really about manifestations coming through for this connection. So you both want this. This is both going to happen. it's really around becoming masters of your destiny as well. That it's something that you're both wanting to work on together, is this connection, is you both will ultimately be brought into alignment. You want to work on this connection. I'm also always, whenever I see this card and I'm talking about love, I always see these two horns here. They actually remind me of swans, which is the soul tie, right? It's the swans. It's a real soul tie connection. Those two swans together. It's a real soulmate card. So I definitely think that you two are going to work into an Eight of Pentacles. You both see each other as your soulmate, and it's that Eight of Pentacles that you'll end up working together on this relationship. And then we've got Seer of Air. So Seer of Air. So of course we've got the King of Swords, but then that's in the reverse. So I think you're both going to continue to work on this. So once again, it's another card that I was seeing. It's a very logical card, that Seer of Air, and it comes back to those oracle cards that we pulled. It's very, very logical, the Seer of Air. There's not a lot of emotion involved with the King of Swords. He's very, knows exactly what he wants. He's a very mature energy, but there's not a lot of heart there. In the reverse, he can be really quite very, very distant, real runner energy, that King of Swords in reverse. Also, he can be very cutting as well, not a lot of compassion, and he can also be very cutting with his words. So I think that this is something you're both going to continue to work on. I think that this is also what led to this connection. I'll finish my thought. To this connection, the ultimate separation. All right, I'm going to get two more cards. All right, just for what the ultimate outcome here is, and just what your team's willing to tell me. All right, so this is the Hermit card, but then we've got Hermit in the reverse. So the Hermit in the reverse is actually around isolation. So I think that this has been something that you've both been in at the moment. And you're trying to, I think, come out of that. I just heard isolation with each other. You really want to come out of this. I just heard, which means I think that you guys will be, I think that that you are both preparing for union, is what I just heard. You're both preparing for union here. You're wanting to come out of Hermit energy. Out of isolation, because Hermit in the reverse is isolation. It's also it's also the Virgo card as well, Hermit. But you're wanting to come out of this. You're both wanting to work on this connection together. You're both wanting to be, Eight of Cups. You see each other as soulmates. You're both thinking about, your lack of compassion and really cutting words that led to this connection, and you're wanting to come out of isolation with each other. And then one last card, please, Spirit. One last card. All right. I'm being told to take that in the upright. So that is the Six of Wands. And that's a beautiful energy to leave it on, because Six of Wands means that you both want an outcome here, a positive outcome. You both want victory, is the Six of Wands, which is really beautiful, is really what you want with each other. So that's what I mean. I don't think that union is going to be too far off here before the two of you were actually brought back into alignment again. Yeah, the Six of Wands is very much around recognition. It's around everybody around you seeing the work that you guys have done as well, and that everybody else can see the connection that you have. I just heard that as well, that both of you really want that. I think that you've got great love for each other, and it will not be long before the two of you are brought back into alignment again, is what I just heard. Beautiful. It's such a beautiful card to finish on. All right, I'm being told that's actually it. That's as much as I should be bringing through for this connection today. I will ask that if you've made it all the way through to the end, that you do like and subscribe. Of course, it does help me, but more importantly, it helps these messages get out to those that need to hear them. So I would ask that you support in that way. But yeah, look, really beautiful reading today. Um, I hope that that certainly has brought some clarity, confirmation to some of you for sure. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. I'll leave it there and I'll see you in the next reading.